Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Hope you had a nice day. Welcome Tobias, welcome. Hope you had a nice day so far. Welcome Roaming Spirit. Just trying the off-season 2v2s right now. Let's see if we get some fun matches, otherwise I will flee into World vs. World. I think I will try probably some hybrid Tempest support condition variant because it makes a lot of sense. It's really strong in 2v2s. Yeah, I also don't really like 2v2s to be honest. I just play them because it's really fast to get, for example, the shards and also some reward track progress, but I really dislike it. You see, this is a core guard. It's probably a... It looks like a power core guard with sword focus or something. And we are playing against Willbender and Tempest. And I think it doesn't matter what I will play here. We will lose because core guard is just worse than Willbender. And if I play Tempest, we have a worse team comp. If I don't go Tempest, we still might lose. It's just really annoying to solo queue duo 2v2s because you don't know what you get and sometimes you it's just annoying. It's just annoying. Let's try it like this, play a Condi Reaper. But I don't expect that much. Just core power guardian is just straight up worse than Willbender. It's just how it is. So let's see if I am wrong about that. But I highly doubt it actually. Where's my guard? I'm almost dead. Yeah, I'm dead. And my guard was not helping me at all. No, don't get me wrong. Of course, if you're good, you can play core guard quite well and make it work. But it's highly unlikely that we win against those people because he was not even fighting with me. I was against 2 and he was just away. That's why 2v2 is horrible. It's really horrible. It's just even more luck-based which opponents and which teammates you get, and it's just horrible. It feels really bad. Should not have gone for Necromancer. So 2v2 is, you have to say, so builds in 2v2 are only focused on winning the deathmatch. Winning a deathmatch you can do either by winning and killing the enemies or just out-sustaining them. That's actually also a very valid tactic. In Conquest you actually can't do that. If you just survive, you will not be really good for your team, you know. So let me concentrate here a bit. I think it's winnable because I'm fighting against 2 people here, but it's still winnable. Never mind. How is he dying when I'm on focus? So the idea is that in a Conquest match you have side notice, you have 101s going on while you still have a team fight. So typically you have very specialized roles. In 2v2s you don't have that. The only thing that is important is to be good in a 2v2 in a 2v2. So that makes sense of course, and therefore hybrid builds are really good because they can support their teammate while still dealing damage. A full support is quite bad in a 2v2 because you only have 1 damage dealer then, and most of the time the enemy team has more damage than you then, and you will die to it. And if you have 2 really strong offensive classes, you might win against worse players, but oftentimes if you are a little bit weaker, or not really good with it, then you might lose against other teams. That's just how it is. And therefore I would say the best builds for 2v2 is typically some kind of hybrid support build or something that is really good together. For example, a Condi build with a power build is extremely well working most of the time because you can cover the other's weaknesses, and therefore some kind of Sage Tempest with a Willbender is really good combo, I would say. But Necromancer can... why is he dead all the time? It's insane. Yeah. Yeah, for example, it doesn't... That's the sad part about PvP2. They are over quite fast, that's the good thing, but I have the feeling it's also really hard to influence the outcome if you're solo queuing. Because it's oftentimes just how well is the team combo of your against the enemy team. And oftentimes you can't, you know, if you say, I want to play Necromancer now, then you get something completely garbage, like your Core Guardian with you, and you can't win against the other team because your Core Guardian is shit at it. That's sadly just how it is. So I would say 2v2 season is horrible. For me at least, I really dislike it. Yeah, don't forget we have a giveaway also ongoing. So if you heard that, you can !enter, of course, as always. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. And I will draw the winner in 20 minutes or so. And I think if this match goes bad again, I will go to World vs. World just because I don't really am in the mood for getting stomped all the time. Because my teammates are, I don't know, not helping me at all. I did not play the match very well, don't get me wrong here. But I think even if I would have been skilled as Boys or someone, I think this would be really hard to win. That's just how it is. Yeah, I think it's really team comp reliant. You're right, there's Roaming Spirit. I think if you have the same skill level as the enemy team, but the enemy team has a better comp, it's 3-0, just because you can't do much. Just how it works. But on the bright side, if you want to get those Ascended Shards of Glory and stuff, it's extremely easy to get. You just queue up, and especially at prime time, and you get it really fast. Even if you lose all the matches, you get them really, really easy. So if you're just in for the rewards, I would say 2v2 is actually a little bit more rewarding than Conquest. Yeah, I think the problem is in PvP right now. That's something I talked in my balance video as well about. Is just straight up that you don't have enough options with the amulets and how you can theory craft your build to counter something at the current meta. So if you have a power build that works well with Berserker Amulet, you can't really build a counter playstyle to that, because if you go for a Toughness Amulet, there are only 2 or 3 options that would work, and most of the time they are just straight up worse, you know, than if you would go for another option with a build that makes more sense with the Amulet. So you can't really theory craft something. For example, if I go with a Necromancer with Toughness, yes, might work for some time, but I lose damage and I will be a worse build of myself just for having Toughness, and in the end I will still lose. It would take maybe 2 or 3 seconds more to die to a Willbender burst, but in the end I will still lose. So I think the problem is that we don't have enough options to make Toughness or other amulets worth it to run against Willbenders. So for example, if you had some old school builds which with expertise or something on it, and the build would make more sense with in the whole grand scheme of things, then maybe we could counter Willbender. But for example, now if you play just 2v2 and you play Willbender, it's really unlikely that you will win without playing a really good spec like Willbender or even this Tempest build. Oh, that was a really lucky block from them. Would have been a 2 people emob. Kill this guy. He's dead again. How is he dead? Oh, it's insane. I can't play this. At least we got the rest, but it's still... He's dead again. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, I think I fear that's not something I should play here. Really hurts. Okay, we have some nice flame in the chat now. It hurts. Yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. Exclamation mark end in the chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Oh my god, my teammate is AFK. It just hurts. 2v2 season is just horrible. How is he dead again? What? What? I didn't get any damage and he's dead. What? And I was standing on the same spot as he. Oh, it hurts. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be mean or something, but it feels just horrible, you know. Normal conquest matches you can do something, but here I feel like I'm just playing a 1v2 from beginning to start to end. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Mandude. Let's quickly get this over with and go to World vs. World roaming. At least then I can do something. Welcome, Krana. Welcome. Does he have a signet or something? No. He actually got the rest. It's insane. Ah, it hurts. It just hurts. Okay, yeah, 83% healing. Yeah, sounds like it's winnable. Okay, I will go into World vs. World just for some better positive mental attitude, you know. I hope you're doing better in 2v2 if you play it. I mean, what builds are you playing? I'm really interested in what guys you are playing, and maybe you have more fun with it. Because I feel like it doesn't matter what build I play, 2v2 is always not fun for me. I tried every single time and it's not working. Yeah, I think it's always a gamble. That's the sad part, you know. I want to have a match where I can feel my impact, you know, and not gambling every time I'm clicking the play button, you know. Ah, okay, if you play World vs. World, then you don't have that problem in that sense. Yeah, to some extent, it's actually worse than ecto gamble, you know, because if you ecto gamble, you actually know that you shouldn't do it because you will lose. But in PvP, you actually have the subconscious feeling that you might win because it's still PvP and not a gamble. But in the end, it's still just a gamble, at least in 2v2. I wanted to queue for EB, maybe we get some Zerg action today. Yeah, always try to be positive and think about how I could improve and stuff, but in 2v2s and 3v3s I often feel like, okay, if you're solo queuing, it's just not working. Yeah. So you have 8 more minutes for the giveaway if you're not entered yet. I think Mesmer is actually, I think if your teammate is a Mesmer, I'm actually not that unhappy. If it's a Chronomancer with Spear, it's actually quite a good build, the offensive one, you know. But if it's a thief, I think it's just lost most of the time because there are only 2 or 3 good thief on EU at least, and they are most likely not in your match, or at least not on your team, and then it's over straight up. Because thief is just really bad, especially if you have a bad one. And engineer is just sadly not good in PvP right now. It's okay, don't get me wrong, it's okay. You can play it, of course, if you're really skilled at it, but it needs way more effort. So I think the balancing currently, especially for 2v2, is really, really bad. There are only a few builds that work, which is really sad because 2v2 can be fun for people that want to theory craft, but if there are only 2 builds are working currently, it's just really, really sad. Yeah, I think Scrapper is okay, that's true. But if you're playing Scrapper as a solo queue, then you are really, really crazy because you don't have, very likely you don't have any support with you, and then it's just, if you get focused, you are dead all the time. So I was thinking of going for different stats here in this build. For a little bit, we have now the Demolisher stats. Maybe I will mix them in actually with some to get some more toughness. Because I feel like you have so many Condi cleanses, if your life pool is a little bit lower, that doesn't matter that much. So I think that would be an interesting choice. I did some commander pieces here to get some boon duration. Because if you have this trait, you really want to get up to the 50% boon duration. Almost. Because then you get so much more value from your Jade things. That's really nice. Welcome, Zoro. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I think Firebrand is actually quite underrated. I think a lot of people think Firebrand is really bad, but I think if you can play it well, it works just like a Sage Tempest. I think it works almost exactly the same. You are supporting and you can deal some damage. I would say the problem is on Firebrand, the same as with Sage Tempest. It's quite easy to burst down. You know, you have your cooldowns, and as soon as the cooldowns are done, you are dead. That's the classical Guardian, support Guardian problem. And therefore, I would say if you play against a somewhat skilled player, they will focus you and you have a big problem. Yeah, it has more support than Tempest, but I would say it's also a little bit less selfish, and therefore it might die faster. Because Shocking Aura is extremely strong. Magnetic Aura is also quite strong. Not against the Willbender, but for example against the Nade Scrapper or even the Pistol Condi Reaper. So there are some really good builds out there currently, but I think it's just really, just a few, and that's the sad part, you know. At least in Conquest you have a little bit more variety, but in 2v2 I feel like you get stomped by, if you are a little bit worse in the team comp, you will get stomped. Yeah, I think that's actually something that Frenchies run in the last AT, in the monthly AT. Some double support comp, or some one support and a semi-half support. And that worked really well, or in the second to last AT it was actually. And I think that makes a lot of sense in the current meta. If you can't kill them fast enough, they just have more support than you. I think that makes a lot of sense. But of course you can't run something like a 2v2, because if you have 1.5 supports, then you can't do anything and you always will go to the poison. And that's just really boring. I think that's the saddest thing that you can do in 2v2, if you always go to timer. It feels so boring. I really dislike that. I mean, there was back in the day you played Scorch and some support, and that's how you always got to timer. It's really annoying. Exactly, I think the discrepancy between solo queue in ranked and high-level gameplay is immense with supports. And that's also a big issue for ArenaNet to balance, you know? So if you balance regarding the top play, you have to nerf supports to some extent because they are too strong. But if you nerf supports, you will never see supports in ranked gameplay, even though they are actually quite useful, you know? Even though it's so painful to play them, it should be more played, because I think support is a really good playstyle and should be played in a Conquest match. But I think they just struggle overall with all the balancing that they have to do. Yeah, I think I'm also, actually, I think if I had to choose a role for Guild Wars 2 PvP that I just by the design, you know, like the most, it would probably be support. But I really fear to play only support, because it's just so depressing at times, even more than normal ranked gameplay. Just because you just get bullied by your team and they don't even know what they are doing wrong most of the time. I think you are somewhat right there, but I think that's the same problem, that if you had some kind of really good build that would be working against the support really well, in the sense that it's you know, countering the support to some extent, but is not that useful if you don't have an enemy support, for example, then it would make sense. For example, in the past, let me explain it a bit more. In the past, for example, we had a lot of builds, for example, Bunker Druid or Decap Druid, or some really tanky Warrior Spec Spellbreaker on the side node, which could really easily survive 1v2s, for example. And then you had a really slow meta. But then some build emerged that was dealing with it, for example, like a power condition mirage, so a power block condition mirage. Because that would apply 25 vulnerability really fast, doesn't have that much self-sustain, but could easily kill builds in a 1v2 or 2v1 situation, because it had so much burst damage, you know? So it was the Bunker Breaker. That build still exists, but it's totally useless right now, because builds like Willbender just one-shot it, or other builds that are just really squishy can do the same role, a little bit worse, but are always in general really nice to play, because they don't have a drawback. So I think every build should be some kind of triangle, you know? This build is good against this one, but it's really bad against another one. But currently it's just like, okay, you have the really good DPS, like Condiref and Herald, Condiref and Willbender, and you have the really good supports, and that's it. There is no triangle in this sense. You just go with this really good supports, and you go with the really good DPS, and that's your team comp. So there is no real choice there, which is a little bit sad. So I will capture this camp and then we draw the giveaway winner. Be sure to enter, exclamation mark enter, you have to be a Twitch follower to win. 1 more minute for you. So let's see what skins we have this time. Thanks for the follow. Smog Mage. Smugged Nego. Sorry, I'm butchering your names. It's horrible. Okay, so I guess we will draw now. And congrats to you, Roaming Spirit. Yeah, I think it's just hard to pronounce. Yeah, just let me know your account name and then I will start the next giveaway. Don't worry guys, we have more to go. You can all win, I hope. Perfect. And let me set up the next one. And it's up. Exclamation mark enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Sorry, Lex, you can't enter on YouTube. That's just sadly not how it works. But you can join Twitch and then you can easily get it. But don't worry, we will do a YouTube giveaway in the future as well. Perfect, then I was choosing the right skins without knowing it. Perfect. I would really, you know, one of the things that I would really think they should do is a small balance patch with the Winter State patch. That would be amazing if they could nerf some broken stuff in PvP. Because I feel like there will be a patch because they had the season is only going 1 week, so the next season will probably start on Tuesday. So we might get some balance adjustments with the patch, just to maybe nerf some Willbender, maybe buff some relics that are really bad with the new patch. I really hope so, but maybe I'm coping there, you know. Especially the relics, I think they are not changing relics. I think that's just sad. They are only nerfing strong relics, but I'm not sure if they will buff some underused relics. But I really think they should go more aggressive on the nerfs and buffs so that people really, at least in the competitive modes, are encouraged to play something new and not always playing Willbender for the last 3 seasons. That's just in solo queue ranked. I think Condi Ref, the problem with Condi Ref is, I think if they nerfed some or buffed the whatever, you just increase the energy that is required to cast some skills, I think it would be fine, for example, or increase the cooldown maybe of the 4 skill on Spear. I think this is the biggest contender. The 4 skill is so strong. It's so strong. Yeah, I think Mesmer Spear, they actually nerfed quite well. I think the problem only is that currently no one plays Mesmer, and I think as soon as some people are playing Mesmer, especially Virtuoso, it actually gets quite annoying. Don't get me wrong, I like Mesmer, but I think Virtuoso is really annoying, and I fear that if they nerfed Willbender, I think Power Virtuoso would come back, and I don't like Virtuoso. It feels extremely bad to play against because they have so much invulnerability and blocks and stuff. So I really hope, yeah. Yeah, I think if I would have to choose one support build, it would be Staff Tempest. I really enjoy it, and it's really fun to play. It just feels somewhat painful sometimes, just sadly. Welcome, Palencio, welcome. Palencio, for example, is playing Spear Virtuoso, and it's annoying to play against that, for sure. So I think if Spear is quite still quite strong, definitely. Yeah. I think the problem is if you add an extra relic slot, that would first of all cause a lot of balance problems, but even leaving that aside, I would say it's really cool, for example on Elementalist right now, that you have so many relics which you can go for. So that you always think, this relic is really good, you know? It makes a lot of sense to run River's relic in World vs. World because you have so many skills on Elementalist and you get all benefit, you know, from the Alacrity then. But at the same time, the Nios relic is really good because you have so many cleanses. Or the, how's the other one called? The Mist-Tide relic is really good because you have so many blast finishers and leap finishers. So I think it's really cool to have so many choices, and every time you have a new choice, it makes you think about which situation is good, you know. If you had multiple relic slots, you would only go for relics that are really good together. And I think this is a problem. I think it's by design it should be more like you have a really good relic for this situation and you have a really good relic for this situation. Not in conjunction, because then you would always go for some really broke combinations. Yeah, I agree. Mirage is more fun, but I think it's more punishing. Welcome, Heavenfire, welcome. I think it's more punishing to play because you're more squishy. You don't have the panic buttons with the invulnerability and stuff. So I would say in an ideal world, Spear Mirage exists while Spear Virtuoso is bad. Just because then you get punished for overcommitting. Because on Virtuoso, you will see when Willbender gets nerfed, people are starting to play Virtuoso. And it's actually really annoying to face because you can't punish them that easily. I mean, it's hard to say. I would say the distortion that Mesmer baseline has is okay because you get really... if you use it at the wrong moment, you will lose. And that's fine. But the problem that I have is Virtuoso has this multiple times because they have this where they cast and channel it, you know, the skill. I don't know how it's called, but this one is a problem for me because it just makes them, they have 2 invulnerabilities, and therefore they can come out of jail free, you know, 2 times, which is a really bad thing to have, I would say, because you don't get punished if you misuse it once. But let's see, maybe they adjusted somewhat, you know. Yeah, I think the Willbender or the Guardian Elite is actually one of the best invulns they have in game because it has a long cooldown. You can't use anything else that is not instant cast, and it has another effect that is somewhat useful, you know, so that you reset your virtues. I think this is one of the best invulnerability skills they have because it's really punishing and if you use it at the wrong time. At the same time, you see why it's so good, because a lot of people, or all the builds actually in Guardian in competitive modes, use this. I think you in World vs. World, in Cirque, you most likely don't use it, but most of the time it's still a really good option. I think Lex, I think I see both sides. So for example, Chronomancer has baseline movement speed increase and it feels amazing. But I think it's another just another balancing layer that you have, because if you need it as a roamer, for example, you have to go for a relic or some swiftness application, or even some Lynx rune or something, Traveler rune, that gives you movement speed passively. So it takes away some of the stats that you otherwise would get. So I would say if it's well balanced, then I think it's fine. For example, if you don't get the movement speed buff, but you get, for example, 100 toughness or something, just simplifying here, then you could go with a different rune that gives you movement speed and you lose a little bit on the toughness, and it would still in the end in total be the same. I think that is fine. But if it's badly balanced, then we have a problem. Then I'm agreeing with you, then everyone should have the movement speed buff or no one. That's just how I would see, yeah. I think the problem is if you don't have those movement speed buffs in the game, classes that don't have that many mobility skills get baseline punished. And I think this is not good, because then you will always say classes that have a lot of mobility skills are just better. And I don't like that in the sense, because I feel like every class should be able to move around fast. You should have a different amount of investment, that is fine, but if you're not able to reach it at all, that's just not feeling good. But that's just my take, you know. I'm not a balanced dev. I don't want to be in their spot. Of course, I would be happy to give some feedback to them, but I think you can't make all the people happy. You know, there's always a minority, maybe even a majority that is not happy with your balance decisions, and then it feels like you do all your work for people that are not happy with what you're doing. So I don't like that, you know. It's way more satisfying to do work and people say that's good work, you know. I think for PvE I would agree, Palencio. I think if you are a player that joins Guild Wars 2 or plays for a few years already, it's way more fun to have an overpowered class than to feel like your class is shit and you can't play it because it's really bad. But for PvP, if everything is overpowered, it might be fine, but at that time it's also balanced, you know? So if everything is overpowered, it's still balanced. But at the moment, I feel like some classes like Engineer are just underpowered. And that is not good. It's not balanced. Yeah, for PvE, I mean, that's the current state of PvE. Look at the supports. What a support has to do in PvE is insane. It has to deliver the Alacrity or Quickness boon, it has to heal, it has to apply stability, H's if it can, a lot of healing, a lot of cleansing. So that's all in one package. Previously, if at the start of the game, you didn't even have any healers, and so it is just power crept. It's insane. Yeah, I think it's a core. It was a core engineer with spear, what he played most of the time. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I faced him quite often, actually. Credits to those guys that come up with some nice builds, but I would say it's more like the player was really good. More than, let's say, engineer by itself. I think if you give this spear skill build to a bad player, they won't get rank 1. That's just not how it works. Yes, I think it's... I agree with you, Crowton. If you play Willbender yourself and you play against a good player, you feel like you don't deal any damage, because it's if they dodge the correct skills, there is no damage that you can connect to them. So I totally agree with you, but I feel like the problem is that a lot of people are not good enough and then get farmed by Willbender, even by bad ones, and then it becomes a balance issue, because I feel like there should not be a build that is somewhat easy to play and people get farmed by it. That's not fair, you know. Yeah, I mean, we will draw the giveaway winner in around 50 minutes. No, I think that is just in general an issue with the PvP system. If you see how many people got into leaderboard, especially Wake, for example, in the last season, I think this guy had 3 losses or something. It was really crazy. And you know, it was not, you know, the classical, you just play and queue up and then that's it. They really decisively went for matches and times where they could easily carry or maybe even win trade. So the titles are not that much, you know, it's not the best player that's rank 1 right now. It's just the player that had the most effort put in to get this rank, you know, that's just how it is. Cynics, thanks a lot for the follow, by the way. Didn't notice it earlier. So sadly, there's nothing to do here. Everything is kept already. Welcome to the stream. Let's see what we can... Maybe we can get some more action on EB. When we get there in, I don't know, half an hour. Nothing to do to giveaway. I mean, I was trying to spread it a bit more out, so I don't have that many skins left anymore. So I don't want to spam them on one day. So I will do it in, let's say, 10 minutes. But you're right, there will be more giveaways, of course. I'm also always, when I discuss relics option and stuff, I'm also really thinking how they will continue with the new upcoming relics and stuff, if they will continue to push out relics that are somewhat bad and one good one or something. And then the next expansion will deliver a totally new, maybe weapon, maybe lead spec, I don't know, something new. And then still relics, so they will always have to add some more stuff, you know, it's always increasing. And I fear it's the balancing in the future will get actually worse, just because they have to add more stuff, because that's what they promised us. And then in the end, it just gets worse all the time, balancing. And I really hope they find a way to address this, but I have to be honest, it feels like they are really doing a really bad job over the last few months. Maybe even years. At least in the competitive modes. I think in PvE it's somewhat okay, because everything is really strong right now, which is balanced in the end. But when it comes to competitive modes, I feel like it's just the new stuff is either really good and they have to nerf it, or it's really bad and they will never touch it for the most part. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's really sad actually that they are sticking to those. You get a boring damage buff, either you proc it with this or you proc it with this. I feel like that's really boring. I really think they should do some more interesting stuff. Oh, he doesn't want to fight, sadly. Some more interesting stuff. In competitive modes, at least, you have more interesting stuff like Naos Relic or even the Mist-Tide Relic, so you have to think about what you are doing and not spamming all this time. But in the PvE game mode, it feels like, okay, you get 7% buff, you get 5% buff, you get a 10% buff. It's just a little bit of a DPS buff. I think they should remove all those buffs and give you more to think about. Some more supportive relics or something. That would make it way more interesting, at least in my opinion. I mean, I really think it would make the game way better if they would just make at least one build per class quite good. Because if everyone would play Willbender, I think it would become really boring really fast. I really enjoy variety, you know. I don't want to play always the same 101, and I don't want to play always the same build myself. I really like variety. So if everything would be the same, it's just not good. And if the balancing continues to go in this direction, competitive modes, I fear it might end up like this. You only can go for one DPS build if you want to win the monthly AT or something. I think it would actually be really fun if they would do some really, really interesting mode for April Fools, April 1st. That would be really cool. But in the end, I think... but in the end, I think it would not happen. Because they are focusing on Super Adventure Box for the most part. I mean, they actually... So, in Guild Wars 1, they had the option to double class. But if they would bring something like that, so that you can, for example, run Tempest together with Catalyst, that would make the game really a fiesta, I would say. A really big clown fiesta, because it's... it will not be possible to balance anymore, I think. It would be fun for the players to some extent, but only until we figure out what is the best. And until then, it's fun. But as soon as someone figures out what is the best builds that we can run, there will only be those builds, because they will be so overpowered, you know? So that's just... And it's also really weird, for example, what would happen if you run Firebrand with Willbender? Which virtues are working together, you know? What is happening? So yeah, I think actually it's highly unlikely they will do something that experimental. I actually think they will just bring up a new weapon or make it a little bit rework for every class, some kind of stuff, but I highly doubt they will bring up some new elite specs or even some crazy idea like this. I mean, I think new classes are also sadly really unlikely. I would really hope they will bring up some really crazy new stuff. But in the end, I really fear they will not do that. Just because they don't have the stuff. Maybe in Guild Wars 3 we get some more new classes and some really interesting new design. But in Guild Wars 2 I don't see it. I just don't see it. I really hope they don't give Willbender stealth. That's not something they need. That is for sure. I mean, it would be cool if they would really introduce a new weapon that is somewhat like an unarmed fist or some bracelet or something. I think that would be cool if they introduce something like that. But I agree. I think a Willbender that had stealth would be an overpowered thief. Because thief right now is exactly that, just a little bit less damage for the most part. Holy shit, it's not progressing at all. Yes, it would be crazy. So a few more minutes, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. Exclamation mark enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win, to participate in the giveaway. Let me cap this camp. Maybe we get it in time. Thanks for the follow, Zane. Seems like our team is only capping camps all the time on every single map. I guess we have SA, I mean. And they are always roaming, of course. I mean, this so-called circ busting is actually working to some extent with Willbenders or with some really strong power builds. It's actually working quite well. How many targets does this hit? 5? Okay. So it's a valid choice. You can do that. If you have an organized squad of 5 to 10 people, you actually can fight against 20 or 30 people if you know what you're doing. And actually really kill them really fast. That's really fun. And it's working with Willbenders and stuff. So I hope you all are entered and you are Twitch followers to win, because we will draw the giveaway winner in a few seconds. Wait. I guess I don't want to cap. Okay. I really hope they don't buff mech in competitive modes. That would be horrible. And I'm really not a mech enjoyer in competitive modes. It's just really annoying to fight. So it is time. Hope you are all entered. Let's see who is the winner this time. And it's Groton. Congrats to you. Let me know your account name in chat. Let's see what skins we have this time. Congrats. Don't worry, we have more giveaways. Yeah, everyone will get the chance to win, so now it's your turn. That's how it works. Congrats. Very nice. Welcome, Lady Asta, welcome. I'm good. How are you? Had some sad 2v2s already, and now I'm back into World vs. World just because it's more fun. Okay, next giveaway is up. Exclamation mark end in the chat. And you have to be a Twitch follower to win. Yeah, no problem. I like to give some small presents back. So maybe we'll get to EB at some point. I'm now in the queue for, I don't know, half an hour. And I was, last 10 minutes, I was rank 4. So let's see if it will move. Seems to be good fights. Otherwise someone would leave. Ah, okay, interesting. I mean, I know that on Friday is Relink, but I have the feeling that this matchup was extremely interesting. There were only Zerg fights on EB and everything else was just roamers. So if you want to roam, you go to the normal maps, and if you want to have Zerg fights, you have to go to EB, but in the evening it's really hard to get there. Okay, let's contest this. I don't have any conditions on me all the time. I have so many cleanses. Oh, it didn't crit. Look, I just needed one crit that worked. But it always feels really bad if you don't crit with your burning speed. Yeah, I think the alliance system leads to some really sad matchups. Sometimes people just don't want to play any World vs. World anymore because you're just losing constantly. So I guess that's why the alliances or the guilds, the 6th guild, will sometimes decide to not play anymore. That's just how it is, I guess. I mean, how do you like the alliance system? Because I'm a little bit... I don't really care about the alliance systems. I played versus World exactly the same as I did before, but how are you guys in chat interacting with it? Are you really enjoying it? Are you feeling it's not working at all? Would be really interesting to know. Because I don't have that much to say about it in the end. Oh, crazy. So that's just because of the opinions you get kicked. That's something that is not understandable to me. I think if you want to play together, that's fine. It's interesting. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this guy said that, and that's why I don't want to play with him, you know? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's not a really crazy reworked alliance system. So previously you had a server, and if you played on a server, everyone on that server played together in World vs. World. Now the server system is completely gone, in the sense there is no server that you play anymore. And you just are on a new server that is created out of randomly, or not randomly, but in the background assigned guilds and solo players that are just assigned together to one new server. And if you want to play on the same server as your friend, you have to play in the same guild as them, and you have to select the same World vs. World guild which you want to be assigned with. And in the end, it's just the same as before, just that you don't have a server anymore. So the system itself, how matches are made and stuff are the same, just that you don't have the server anymore, you just have guilds that are meshed together in a server. So yeah, I think the guild drama was already really bad. That's the real guild was, you know, and it didn't improve with the alliance system. I think that is true. At least we now have a 6 guild slot, so maybe people that needed that have that now. But I think it's not that crazy of a change for most of us. It's actually insane. Maybe it's bugged again. Because yesterday I was in position 1 for, I don't know, 1 hour or something. It was not very realistic that I'm really not getting in for 60 minutes because no one is leaving. That's just not how I think it works. But let's see, maybe I am more lucky today. I'm also trying to collect some outnumbered footage, because this build really shines in outnumbered situation. There is no one here. It's really sad. And every time I play Willbender, I get outnumbered, you know. So the build that doesn't like to be outnumbered gets outnumbered. In this build, just I don't find anybody. Interesting. Okay, so the alliance system is really, yeah, fast-paced. I think there should be more time or something, I guess, before you can select something, or before it, you know, changes. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if the registration is really that strict. How long they need for the seeding and stuff. I don't know. Would be really interesting to see. I think a lot of the World versus World stuff is really interesting if people from ArenaNet would talk about it. How that works, the seeding, how fast they do it, if it's always the same, if there's some... if it takes the previous one into account, it would be really interesting. Okay, the registration ended today. Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, maybe they give us some feedback on that. They give us more feedback regarding the engine system and stuff. Regarding how they improved it and how they can't improve it much further and stuff. I think this is cool. I did not understand a lot. They told it in this blog post a year ago or something. But I found it really cool if people talk about what they are doing all the time. So I hope they will do that in World vs. World as well. Oh, we have someone here. It's a core guard, but I think he's dead. Yeah, it was not that exciting. I also want to know what the balance team is doing all the time, you know? Because they come up with a balance patch every 3 months, and do they really need 3 months for this amount of balance? That would be really interesting. Or if they have something else to do as well, you know? We don't know the background. That would be really interesting. So the registration, if the registration is over, which is currently the case, you have to wait until the next relink. That's just a sad proof. You can't swap mid thing. So then I don't know when the next relink will be, but it will take at least a few weeks. And that's just how it is. That's the sad truth. Maybe you will get lucky and get to the server that you want it to be. But I think they should announce it a little bit more. You know, that as soon as you go into World vs. World or something, maybe a week before, you will get notified that it's about to change, or there will be a registration needed. I think that would be cool because a lot of people miss it. I think that would be really hard if they would say, yeah, you can swap once per matchup. That would be really, I think, too much of a hassle for them, because a lot of people would abuse that, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess you're just unlucky then, or yeah, I mean. But like I said, I'm not really engaging with anything like that, so. Yeah, maybe it's the German alliances that can't hold together, have more issues between each other than with the enemies. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah. I'm not sure. I think it's bugged again. It's been now 20 minutes, rank 4, position 4. That's actually insane. I think that's not likely. Yeah, I think the problem is always if you have a community or something that is needed to play a game mode, or you don't need a community, but if it might feel different, then it's the biggest thing that hinders you to play the game mode is the community. Just because the community can fall apart, can change direction, and just not be like you wanted it to be. So it's always a big problem with MMOs in general, that you have to have some kind of community guild or something, and that people just are not happy with how it's going. You won't have that in a solo game, you know. But community can also be really fun, you know. But holy shit, damage. Hello? This guy's resting, please. Nice, we got him. Another one is approaching. What is this? 3 rangers that are just dying to one of my combos because they never dodge. That feels really satisfying if you hit all your combos. Stuff like that you can't really put in your roaming montage, because it feels like you only put on the stuff that is killing some really new players. That feels really sad, you know. You can't put it in the roaming montage. You want to have some really interesting fights, you know. But maybe I will get some more in the future. Let's see. So if you're not already in, we have another giveaway in 50 minutes. Exclamation mark enter in the chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. I think it's actually true. I think roaming montages are oftentimes just farming new or bad players, which is to some extent fine if it's an outnumbered situation, but if it's just a 1-on-1 or a fair fight, 3v3 or something, I feel like that's just not worth showing on YouTube, you know. I want to show off some cool gameplay or some really strong build, you know. I don't want to show off how bad other people can be. That's just mean, you know. That's not what my YouTube channel is about. So I really try to find some really interesting fights. Some against some good people in 1-on-1s, or against some mediocre players or something, or even good people, and I win a 1v2 or even more outnumbered situation. That's cool. Who is this? Oh, it's Wolf Spider. Good evening. Welcome, Anastasia. Don't forget to enter the giveaway. I will draw the winner in 10 minutes or so. 15 minutes. Oh, it moved. Oh, it moves. I think, don't get me wrong, I think a good roaming montage is really cool. But oftentimes roaming montages feel like they just put in some clips that are farming some bad players, you know. I want to have some really cool gameplay where I show off the build or my skill. That's at least my goal, you know. Yeah, maybe we can get some. that's actually almost even meaner, you know. If you want to get to the circ and you're just interrupting them to get to there. I mean, it's fine. I think that makes sense that you can do that because that's just strategic gameplay. You hinder the reinforcements. You stop the reinforcements from coming through. I think that makes total sense. But it might not be fair fight if you are Roma and playing against a Circ build. It might either be really boring or it might be really fast and really easily over. I'm fighting in how many guards are there? Oh, there are also 3 people now. I think I'm dead. No, maybe not. 3 people. I mean, I could kill this guy, I guess. Or maybe this one. It's a hub. If it's a celestial hub, I won't kill it. But if it's a power hub, I can kill it. What do you mean with combo points? Plus up, lol. Because I have some guides on Chronomancer and Mirage, but I don't really know what you mean with combo points. You mean maybe, do you mean combo finishers or something? Thanks for the follow. No go thank. Ah, he means clones. Ah, the clones up there. So both work actually the same. Chronomancer and Mirage work exactly the same. So every time you have use a skill while you have a target, most of the time, that creates a clone. You will get one more of those knobs, of those dots up here. And if you shatter them or if they die, you will lose all of them. And every time in every single skill description, it says you create a clone or you create a phantasm. Those are the 2 options. A clone is just an illusion of you that is exactly the same as you. It looks the same, it does the same auto attack as you, but that's it. And phantasm does a different attack just once, and when it's done, it despawns and you get a clone that does the same auto attack as you again. So that's how the general stuff works. But if you have more questions, be sure to ask them. I don't have a guide about how those clones work, but in the end you can just try it out and you will see how it works most of the time. Because it's written here, and if you don't understand it, just go to, for example, Hearts of the Mist or something, where you have a golem that you can attack. And it should work, actually. But of course, if you don't like clones, you can also play Roaming Spirits. It says it here. Virtuoso, then you don't have any clones. Thanks for the explanation, Levi. So I don't know about combo points. So, heal Chronomancer is actually really easy. You just spam your Phantasm skills. I have a guide about it, so if you want to know about how to play heal Chronomancer, I actually have a guide about it on my YouTube channel. It also explains in great detail which skills you have to use at which point. For Mirage, it's a little bit harder because Mirage is actually currently not that strong. For PvE at least, for power, or even for condition, it's not that good. In competitive modes, Mirage is actually quite good, but it's quite hard to play. So, if you have a trait that gives you quickness, or gives your clones quickness, and you get a dagger with Virtuoso, it actually does not give you quickness. That's not how it works. So it's not like Soul Beast Merge, where you get the boons from the pet. That's just not how it works. That would be too strong, because you can get even more. Yeah, sure. I'm happy to help. So currently, yeah, they are useless. Yeah, that's true. Currently I'm playing Catalyst with Earth, Fire, and Catalyst. There's a lot of Condi Cleanse, there's a lot of protection, and full Marauder with some commander pieces just to get more toughness. Dagger, of course, because it's the fun weapon combination. I also actually have a build guide on that on my YouTube channel. But that's the build. I mean, it's just swap around some utility skills. Sometimes I swap the trade lines because I feel like if you don't need, for example, Earth, you can also go for Arcane. You have the same stuff most of the time. For the runes, I always go with Leadership runes or Traveler runes because both of them give me boon duration and the Traveler runes give me movement speed, and if I have enough swiftness uptime, I would swap to Leadership, but I'm currently running Traveler. Just for the 25% movement speed increase. Yeah, sure. Always asked if you have any questions. Yeah, I mean, it's a typical Elementalist build. You have more skills, but if you understand what each skill does, it's the same as every other build. You know, it's not more difficult, or I would say, it's just, you know, you have to learn it a bit, and that's it. You just have more skills to read. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, you're right. If you're a new player, it might be a little bit harder because you have so much stuff to remember. Yeah. But I think it's actually, a lot of people say Elementalist is really hard, but in the end, it's just another class with different skills. It's not harder than, for example, Mesmer, I would say. But that's just my take, you know. Everyone feels a little bit different about hard and difficult gameplay, you know. No, they got the rest. It's a Zerg fight here now. Crazy. But I guess we lost. I mean, there are way more people than us. Sad. Yeah, I think Engineer might be harder because it has even more access to kits, and for example, the Holos Forge might be even harder for some people to manage. So I think it's actually not true anymore that Elementalist is the hardest class. I think Engineer might be true, might be also harder. Depends a little bit on the build, of course. For example, if you're playing PvE, there is this Power Tempest build with Scepter that is extremely easy. So it's not the class that makes a build hard, it's the whole build that is that you have to take into account. So, welcome Smiley. I think there are a lot of builds that are harder than Elementalist. So you should never say this class is hard, it's more about the build, you know. There are always hard and easy builds for each class. But for example, if you look at Thief, you can play Pistol, Deadeye, and it's the easiest build in the game. And you deal more damage than most packed PvE players. It's just how it works. If you play the correct build, you might get away with a lot less skill. Because it's just easier. So Thief might not be harder than other classes, you know. If you're playing the correct build at least. But if it comes to competitive modes, it might be a different thing, you know. Might be that, for example, Thief is way harder because you have to play a squishy build to make it work. The only thing that is definitely harder is Weaver. And it's not only because Weaver has more skills than all the other Elementalist specs, but it's also because it's just worse. Its balance is currently right now that all other specs, even core Elementalist to some extent, might be better than a Weaver. Because Weaver is so hard to play for the reward that you get that it's not worth to play it. Yeah. I'm not sure if I will get ever to EB. Yeah, Bladezone is also not that easy. The thing is, Bladezone is difficult for another reason. That's the interesting part. Bladezone doesn't have that many skills, so it's not like Elementalist or Engineer, where you have a lot of skills to learn. But it's hard because you have so long cast times where you can't move, or you can only teleport once or twice. So it's all about knowing the fight. So Bladezone, I would say, is not hard because the general build is hard to understand, but it's more about knowing when to cast your Dragon Trigger, which is, I think, a really cool thing to have in the game, because that makes you rewarded for being really knowledgeable. But sadly, it's currently not in a spot where a lot of people actually play it, because it's just worse than other damage specs when it comes to the damage. Yeah, I think the problem is if you do something like that, like moving is allowed while casting Dragon Trigger or something, that would be a way to buff it again. But I'm not a fan of it, because that would also take away of the whole idea of it, you know? So I'm not really into, you know, that's very unique to have to cast something, and I really like to have some unique stuff to classes. If every class does almost the same, because the unique thing got nerfed in a sense that it's now way easier to use, it feels really boring, you know? And I like to have a class identity that I enjoy, you know? Not having 9 classes, but all of them play the same. That feels really boring, you know? But I get the point. Dragon Trigger is really, really bad. It's just, especially in competitive modes, it's just a shadow of its former self, you know? Definitely. So we will draw the winner in 1 minute when we captured this camp. Don't forget to enter. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Exclamation mark enter in the chat. We will go for 3 more skins. That is true. That is very true. That it's really easy to cancel it unintentionally, which is a big problem. I don't know. I think it should be... You should be able to cancel it, because otherwise you will be locked and will be a sitting duck. But if you don't want to cancel it, you should not... You know, you can't press a lot of buttons, because if you press any button, it will cancel it, which is a little bit sad. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like they could give a trait like the Tempest trait, where you, if you overload, you get 1 stack of stability. I think that would be really cool. That would help it in competitive mode, so that you have to CC it twice. That would be really cool, actually. So I hope for Winter State that they have new skins and something that I can collect. But I will do, of course, the Karma farm with the Winter State bags just to get even more Karma. I don't even know what I'm doing with it, but just because I can. And I think other than that, I don't really know what I want to do. But I really hope there will be a balance patch. So that is probably the biggest thing that I want to have. So the build, let me show the build here. This is the build. Marauder, Traveler Rune, Dagger Cleansing Energy with Nios Relic, those traits, and some commander pieces in there for a little bit more toughness. So I will get the giveaway winner now. I hope you're all entered. Let's see who is it this time. And it's insane. So I hope you're still here. Exactly. All I want for Christmas is a balance patch, but I think I will be disappointed. I have to be honest. So congrats to you, Insane. I hope you're here. Let me know your account name in chat, please. Don't worry, we will have another giveaway soon. Yes, you. Yeah, that's the build. I also have a build guide about it, if you want to check it out. On my YouTube channel, of course. Very good. Congrats. Let's quickly open another one. And it's up. Exclamation mark end in the chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. And yeah, that's it. So, what's your opinion on Sigil of Rage and Celerity with Scepter Focus? So, let me check. So, what do we have? Celerity Sigil. I really like Celerity Sigil. I think this one is really good. Because it gives 5 seconds of quickness when you disable a foe. And has a 20-second cooldown. If you have Boon Duration, it's actually even higher. So I really like this, especially on some range build. Thanks for the follow, Coops. Goods. So I think this is a good one. I would actually think that is probably one that you could also take on Dagger, just because you have so much Boon Duration and you have a lot of CC. But if you're playing Catalyst with some Boon Duration, I would say you get some nice quickness from your where is it? From your air sphere, you know, and with the trait here, with this one, you get a lot of quickness. So I think if you play Catalyst, I would not go for it most of the time because you have permanent quickness all the time. But if you play another build like Tempest, I think it's actually really a solid choice. And what was the other one? Rage. I'm not a big fan of Rage, just because the Rage one is really hard to control. So sometimes you get the proc when you do a burst combo and it works really well. But sometimes you get the proc when you don't really have a nice setup, or you will just kite after that and the quickness doesn't work that well. And it's on a 20-second cooldown, the same as Celerity, but it's passive proc, you know, you can't really say that's working right now. And it's only 3 seconds. So I think I actually am not really happy with Rage Sigil. So I would most of the time, if you're playing Scepter Focus, go with Celerity and another defensive one like Cleansing or Energy. I think this is better most of the time, in my opinion. I think Rage works only really well, for example, on Willbender or some melee builds where you can combo it with Hydromancy Sigil. Because if you combo this with Hydromancy Sigil, Hydromancy is that when you weapon swap, you apply a attack that does some chill around you and does damage. And this means if you have 100% crit rate, you will crit with this skill because it can crit when you are in melee range, and it will instantly block the Rage Sigil. And then you have something that makes sense. I think that, in my opinion, I would say the idea would be that you do your combo with Celerity, because you proc, and for example, Focus 5 in air, you get some unblockable CC, and this is your setup, your start of your combo. And then you have quickness for it. I would say Rage is just too uncontrolled. I don't like it. If you can make it work, sure, go for it. But I would say it's, in my opinion, not worth it, you know, because it's only 3 seconds. That's my opinion. I'm not sure if I will ever get in, to be honest. Okay, I mean, yeah, probably it's like this, but like I said, Rage is really hard to control. So if I run away and do, for example, as a Scepter Elementalist, do an attack that passively hits it and it crits, I get this quickness, and it might not help me to do my burst combo, and then it's on a 20-second cooldown. That's why I don't like it. But if you can make it work, sure, go for it. I'm just giving you my opinion because you asked for it, you know. And I really think in World vs. World, the defensive sigils are so strong. 1 free dodge when you weapon swap is extremely strong every 9 seconds. It's crazy. And the cleansing sigil is also really good if you have a lot of cleanses on you, like this build. Then you can combo that with Nios, and you have so much healing just passively if you face a Condi class. That's just my take on it. I would say this build even has too many cleanses, so I would actually swap the cleansing sigil for something else. You could go for absorption, which is really funny because you then can steal some boons. Might test it actually. But you can also go for something more offensive like Hydromancy or something more damagey. Definitely. Or Celerity. Celerity would also work, but Celerity, like I said, you have enough quickness on a Catalyst with this trait. Yeah. I'm almost there with my world XP. I'm almost at the breakpoint where I get one more pip. Only 46 more ranks and I got it. Really nice. Because then I get more loot for just doing the same that I'm currently doing. I really like that. So world rank is actually increasing your loot. Someone, please. Yeah, I think Celerity with air, that makes much more sense. I think if you're on Scepter, your air proc is actually really helping your damage because you're single target most of the time. I think this is one I would say that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. This is, I would say, way more to go, you know. There is someone. Please don't run away. Oh, there are multiple people. How many are there? 4? Let's take it. Let's go in. Okay, we got one down. Another one. I mean, I guess they rest the other guy. Not two. I had to use all my stun breaks there to get out of there. Whew. Yeah, there are 5 people now. And I got 1 kill. Nice. Ugh. Let me live. No, they got me. Ah, too many. How many are there? It was 7 people and I got 1 kill. That's nice. I take it. Sorry, didn't read chat there. Yeah. But I think celerity air is probably the best way then. Yeah, for sure. That was a nice fight. 1 kill in against 7 people. I take that. Could have actually killed more people, I have to be honest, if I played that better. But you could see the potential of this Catalyst build. With the Dagger, you're so mobile that they will not catch you and you have a lot of sustain, even though you don't have any healing power. With the cleanses, with Nios Relic, it's actually really good. It's a really, really good build. Just can emphasize. If you want to play Elementalist right now, this is the build to go in World vs. World, I would say. It's really fun. Of course, there are other ones, for example, Signet builds and Catalyst are also really strong. So I think they are 1 guild, so I think we can't fight this. They're coming again. Oh no. Maybe we can sneak the camp, but I think they will come back again. Oh, they're actually surrounding me. Okay. Guess then I'm out. Oh, they actually follow me here. Crazy. That's how they want to use their time. Interesting. I mean, I guess that's world versus world, you know. 7 people in a guild try to chase 1 roaming Dagger Catalyst. I'm not sure if I will ever get in, to be honest. Maybe we go for some more PvP, just because it's more action than just waiting here for some 101s or something. I don't know. I think Bladesong with Stormsinger Relic is actually a really fun combo. I'm not sure if it's really stronger than Spellbreaker or Berserker, but it's definitely a build that might be really good. You know, it's not the best one for roaming, but I think it makes sense. I think if they would buff Bladezone a bit, you know, the Dragon Trigger and stuff to make it more usable, then I think it would be a really valid choice. I might agree that it might be better than some Spellbreaker or Berserker variants, but in the end I think it's just the playstyle that you enjoy more that helps you. But I feel like if you really deal most damage with your Stormsinger Relic, then I would say and you could also go for some really weird Spellbreaker strength build with Greatsword and something like that, and you also have some movement skills in there. But yeah, I guess the Bladezone build, if you enjoy it more, it makes also sense. But I would say it's not my playstyle that I enjoy. I think Bladezone in World vs. World feels too slow for me. I played it back in the day in PvP when you could bunker a node, because you had such amazing healing and resustain. But in World vs. World, I feel bunker builds are really boring. I don't enjoy them. I'd rather play something that is mobile and does some damage at least.
There's the power.
Don't forget to enter the giveaway. !enter in the chat to be a Twitch follower to win. I will draw the winner in 15 minutes. Yeah, this is really sad. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Levi-chan, thanks for the follow. It's really sad if your profession mechanic should be the one damaging skill and you just use it for mobility, you know? I think that then you know something did go wrong. So I really hope they will buff Dragon Trigger or something, that it's a little bit more impactful, because if you are a good player, it's actually not that hard to dodge. So I think it's a fair skill in that sense, because you can dodge it. It has an animation. But this might just be my take, because I knew back in the day when it was really good, a lot of people really dislike to play against it, because it's, especially on low level, people might be really frustrated to get hit by a really hard-hitting skill because they can't dodge it in time. I think that is a valid argument, definitely. I think they also killed it because you could, previously you could, if you spam it, you could use it with a 2 or 3 second cooldown on the Dragon Trigger for the movement skill. That was really fun. And I think the biggest blow was actually the tactical reload nerf. Previously it resetted all your, reloaded all your ammunition skills. And now it does not do that anymore. So it's way worse. Definitely. At least in competitive modes. I think that was really the bad stuff. Exactly. I think it's actually a really fair skill. If you look at other classes like Willbender or even Spear Mirage, they have way harder stuff to dodge. So I would say it's fair if Dragon Trigger would get more damage, for sure.
Statistically speaking, this is rather rare.
Which is, I think it makes sense to have a skill that does a lot of damage, but is also somewhat nicely telegraphed and you can dodge it. I think this is how it should be. But if a skill is nicely telegraphed to some extent and it does no damage or doesn't have a stun or something to attach to it, that's when the problem begins. Definitely. I mean, I talk about balance all the time, but I feel like we expect too much. I think they will just nerf some damage numbers of Willbender, maybe some spear nerfs for Mesmer, and I think that will be it. I think there will not be big balance changes in the next week's patch. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think the Willbender F1 is also somewhat okay from the telegraph, you can dodge it, but that it deals so much damage on such a short cooldown, that's a big problem, definitely. I also think, that's just my take, but I feel like the Willbender damage is too high. That should not be the new standard. I think DPS builds should do lower damage than Willbender, because then the meta would be slower, and it would be more fun for new people to get into because they know what they are dying to, you know. Because nowadays it feels like a Willbender looks at you and you are dead. And the new player doesn't know how they can deal with that, you know, or what they can play or do against that. And it's really not cool to have something like that in the game. So I feel like if the meta would be slower, it would favor new players getting into PvP. I don't talk about a bunker meta, don't get me wrong. I don't want to have people standing on node the whole match without dying just because they are so tanky. Definitely not. Yeah, but I think Anastasia's right there. There will always be a build that bullies people, especially in low ratings. Definitely. No, don't get me, Winslow, I agree with you that Willbender has other issues, but I'm talking about the general, you know, that a build that does that much damage should, in my opinion, not exist with the full kit that it has, you know. If you really want to have a build that can one-shot, it should not be able to stealth, it should not be able to have stability by itself. These kinds of stuff should not be on the build. It should be a really weak glass cannon build that can one-shot people and that's it. But in the end, I feel like the meta should never have that as the top spot, because that's really hard to get new people into the game when there's one-shots built around, you know? If you can explain someone, okay, you're dying to this attack because you dodged it 3 times, you missed the dodge 3 times in a row, then they say, okay, now I can learn it, you know? But if they every single time die to a Willbender engage where there are 10 attacks hitting them in the first second, this is a problem, because then you can't really tell them what to dodge, because there's so many attacks they have to look out for. Yeah, that's my take, you know. I think a glass cannon build should be punished for being a glass cannon build, and it should not be able to one-shot every single time when they engage. The cooldowns should be long enough so that people get punished for not being able to one-shot. That's why I think, for example, Spear Mirage is in a way better spot, because if you engage and you don't get your damage out, it's very likely that you will die, because you are so squishy that you might not dodge 1 attack, might not dodge 2 attacks, and you will die, because you don't have that much cleanses, you don't have that much resustain. That's how it should be. So let's see, what do we have here? A Weaver. Yeah, let's go for this build. Let's have some fun with Elementalist. Exactly, I think a high damaging build should be able to get punished. And the damage is also not that high that it's out of control. I think it's really high, but it has some weaknesses. It can't, for example, if you apply weakness, yeah, no pun intended, then the damage is neutered because they don't have that much cleanse. And this is really good. Yeah, that's how it should be. Also, Shocking Aura is extremely strong against Mesmer because they don't have that many stability skills if you don't play in Chaos. Mirage does not play Chaos, so it's really weak. If you get stunned by Shocking Aura, they will die to it. But I think the class design from Mesmer and Warrior is good. Warrior is more tanky, more brawlery, and Mesmer is really squishy and more bursty. I think this is okay, but the problem is that you have a heavy character, a heavy armor class like Willbender or even Spear Ref that can deal a lot of damage in a rather short amount of time while still being able to resist a lot of damage because they have so much defense. That is not good. So let's see. What do we have? Hopefully that's not a burst warrior, otherwise we might die to it because we're quite squishy. And let's go far. So this guy doesn't have anything left, then we need focus. So he used it actually, okay. So who do we have here? It's the Willbender. That's a good matchup. That's an instant win, I guess. He doesn't have renewed focus anymore. And his damage is also not there anymore. And I get decap, I guess, in a second. Now I kite because he used his offensive tools. And I think now he's dead. Takes some time, but it's... Why would he outnumber me? Yes, I think the Revenant is harder to play, but it's still too strong in my opinion. Those two builds should be nerfed, definitely. It's a Power Weaver. I have to be careful here, those are two people on me. No, there are 3 people on me, please. No one is there to help me. Sad. You control the gate. Yeah, I think there are a lot of issues with the current meta, especially when it comes to Willbender. So let's hope they will address it with the new balance patch. I'm just hoping there will be a balance patch on Tuesday. It's not confirmed, at least not to me. You know. Welcome, Filthy Cash. You're welcome. At least that's a close game here. Very nice. Your enemy has the gate. That's an easy kill. It's a Condi built against Power Weaver. But I guess... I'm not sure. I guess I go far. My team is just dying everywhere.
Bring this one down. You've got the temple.
I also enjoy Willbender. Don't get me wrong. I play it a lot actually, also on stream. But I feel like there should be some changes, you know. I don't want to play always the same broken build, especially if a lot of other people play it and are just, you know, not playing very well. That's the biggest problem. So I didn't dodge any of his attacks, but I'm still alive. So this build is actually quite good.
Control the gate.
It got me. Oh no. Thanks for the follow. Or the subscription, rather. Thanks a lot. Chill. I mean, Greatsword Mirage is also really fun. Very nice, thanks. Really appreciate it. So, I would say Mirage is probably the choice. If I did not have, I don't know, 1.5k wins on Mesmer, I would also play Power Mirage. I think that's one of the most fun builds that is currently out there. But I want to play different classes, you know. So that's why I'm going for Elementalist, Willbender, Necromancer, all that kind of stuff. I think it's also really bad that a lot of people play. What is he doing?
Your enemy has the temple now.
Oh no. He's deliberately throwing. That's so sad. I mean, it was a close match until it wasn't, because this guy just went AFK. Or so sad. They got me again. Yeah, I think this guy was trolling and is deliberately throwing. I mean, that's just sad if you have an unranked match where no one cares and this guy is throwing it. I mean, I want to have some fun and don't play with someone that is deliberately dying and following me to cap a point. I would go with the dueling version. I think the dueling version is better, because you have the permanent vigor. I really enjoy that, because on Mirage vigor is so good. I would actually go for that.
The enemy has all 3 points. Get them back.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, this match is sadly over. But I tried my best. I think I could have played way better. But that's the problem with Unranked, you know. I feel like they are playing together as well, as a team. So it's sometimes not even fair from the beginning. So I can't really carry this team either, because they are just flaming each other in chat. This guy's in Rampage, I think.
Has the temple now. You captured the altar.
I think I killed him when I 1v3. Ah, nice. I think the mini season just makes PvP really bad, because a lot of people don't like the 2v2 season and they are queuing unranked, and then you have some really unfair matches oftentimes. I really dislike unranked in mini seasons.
You've got the temple.
I don't know, I also like ranked in mini seasons not that much. So. We got this guy, very nice. Maybe that's the biggest comeback of the year. It's not lost. It's It's winnable.
Stillness has appeared. You control the gate.
Refreshing. I feel energized.
We have to get the decap here, but we also have to contest this here.
Your enemy has the gate.
No, they got the gate. Comeback is not possible anymore. No.
You've captured the altar.
Oh, maybe we got the decap. No, if this guy dies, it's over. Oh, don't die. Don't die on me. Oh, it's over. Ah, so sad. Yeah, 51% healing as a not support. It's just crazy. Yeah, I'm also very happy that it's only 1 week. That would be horrible if it would be more than 1 week. That's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, let's go for another one. Let's see how it goes. Let's do a giveaway. Let's see who will be the winner. Thanks again, Chill, for the subscription. Really appreciate it. And let's see who will win this time. Don't forget to enter, ! Enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a follower to win. Give you 1 more minute. Thanks for the follow, Shade. Hope everyone is in. And let's see who's the winner. And congrats to you, Argos Xa. I don't know, I butchered the name, sorry. Please let me know your account name in chat. Congrats. We will do another giveaway one in a few minutes. Hope you're still here. There we go. Perfect. Congrats again. And let's go for another one. Give me a second. And it's up. ! Enter in the chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. Last one for today. I will draw the winner in around, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. Thanks for the follow, Chintu. Welcome. So let's see if we can get some different matches, because I feel like if I play this build, I oftentimes just lose because my team does not have enough damage. No, not ranked. Don't go ranked. It's insane. Let's see what we get. I really enjoy this build. It's really strong, you know. So you have you can go Demon Queen Relic for the healing reduction. You have a lot of cleanses. You can even go for this trade as well. You can go for Nios if you don't want to have more healing reduction, because then you have even more cleanses, and you have so much vigor and endurance regeneration, not only for you but also for your allies. So really good as team fighter as well. It's just a really well-rounded build. I really enjoy it. I think if you all those 3 traits are actually worth it. I would go for this trait when you have a lot of condis applied to you, and then you can also go for Nios Relic, because then it's actually insane how many cleanses you have, and all of them heal you. It's really fun to play. Give me a second. This is the traits, and this is the runes. So for the runes, I go with Forge just for the more burning duration, and Sage Amulet is just by far the best for this build. And then I go for Smoldering and Doom. You could swap both of those, maybe for energy, maybe for cleansing, whatever is needed. But those 2 are the offensive ones. So this is how I would do it. Like I said, those traits can be swapped. You could also swap this for the stability trait. All of those make sense. So it's actually really fun. You have so much different builds that you can play. Yeah, okay, this is a Willbender match if I have ever seen one. Let's show those people how you can burst it. There was a power Weaver in the enemy team. This is my prime target. This guy will be dead all time. I'm actually not sure. I was actually thinking of going for more characters, because I need more storage space, you know. But I only have 2 more spots, and I don't want to start more characters without knowing how to name them and which race I pick. So just leave it at that for now. I have a lot of storage space, definitely. Nah, it's actually currently it's fine. I'm ranked 15 in the leaderboards of account efficiency of how many storage spaces I have. I don't know if anyone cares. I actually don't really care. I just use them. When I need more, I craft more 32 slot packs. And if I need more characters, I buy more or create more characters. But it's a funny statistic. I love that Guild Wars 2 Efficiency has those really weird statistics. For example, how many spoons you collected or something. That's really funny. No one cares, but it's a funny statistic. Oh, they don't have it anymore. But the Scrapper is also a really good target.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
They have really good targets all around, except from the DH.
Your enemy took the mine.
That was a lot of burst damage, definitely. Did not expect the core ally to burst so much. Ah, this is the same build as the Catalyst build, just as a core ally. It's actually well played by this guy. I did not expect so much burst damage from a core elementalist. You see, Willbender is not that strong. It's only as strong as the guy that plays it.
The keep is yours.
Oh no.
Bring that one down.
Instantly going for Beast. That's my guy.
The chieftain's been slain.
Oh no, they got it. Ah, they got it. So if you're playing against a Condi build as a Willbender, you have to really really try to not use your Signet, because your Signet is extremely valuable to cleanse all the conditions that you have. If you, of course, like me, don't have any options left. Oh my god, I was mid-dodge. I'm playing so bad right now. That was a lot of damage. I should not have committed so hard to the beast. But it's fine. I should win those 101s again. Guess we got the whole map from it. That's fine.
Your enemy took the mine.
Let's see.
The keep's been lost.
Okay. Was a close one. Could have played that way better. For sure. So we are still a lot of points behind. Maybe I can get the decap in time. What? That hit me through the wall?
Your enemy took the mine.
It hurts. Yes, I have to hydrate. Unranked is really, I really don't like the off season. Unranked feels really bad, and 2v2 season just feels really bad as solo queue as well. It feels horrible. I mean, I could have played that way better, but I don't know. Really hard.
The chieftain has returned. Svanir's return. The keep is yours.
So I would say the biggest, I think everyone would tell you that the same answer. What is the biggest thing about Guild Wars 2? It's the combat. The combat of Guild Wars 2 is the best of any MMO I've played, just because it's very fluid, it's really fast-paced, while still being very tactical, which skills you can use after one another. And it's just a perfect hybrid between action combat and tap target combat, because you still... What is my team doing? It's completely dead. It's...
They took the henge.
What? I don't know. So it's the perfect target between a tap target and a action combat, in my opinion, because you have skills that... Almost all skills you can cast without a target. But of course, skills you still want to hit them and you can target them. For example, projectiles often have a target. You can even play an action cam if you want to play that. So there is a lot of options. I think this is the biggest draw to Guild Wars. And it's you can, just like Final Fantasy, you can actually play the game for free and start it. And if you like it, you can then buy the expansions. Yeah, I think that's the biggest point that I would say why you should try it. And if you enjoy what you see on streams, on YouTube videos, yeah, why not try it? Especially the open world and the how's it called? The world versus world, which is the open world PvP, is extremely fun. You can have really large scale fights, and if you want to see more stuff like that, maybe check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of stuff about the game there. It's in the description of the Twitch chat. So let's do the last giveaway of today. Be sure to enter !enter in the Twitch chat. You have to be a Twitch follower to win. A little bit more giveaways here. Yeah, sure, I'm always happy to help. So let's see. Hope you are all entered. Like I said, you have to be a Twitch follower to win. !enter in the chat. Last chance. And let's see who's the winner this time. Skywolf, you again. Please let me know your account name in chat. The Wolves win again. I hope you're here. That's just how it goes. Congrats. Yeah, that's how it goes, you know. Sometimes you just win. Forehead. That's how it works, you know. Congrats. That was the last giveaway of today. Sorry guys. We will do more giveaways in my next stream. Hope you enjoyed it. That's enough for today. Hope to see you next time. Be sure to check out my YouTube. Follow, subscribe, you all know it. And thanks a lot for watching. And see you next time. Have a good night. And thanks again for the subscriptions. Really appreciate it.